Guess what I found, Buddha?
More creepy cribs.
I found a spooky crib.
I hate it.
Spooky cribs. Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm Mike Hickey, and this is the Terra Nova Halloween Spooktacular. Tonight, we are back at the Woodstock Public House on Topsail Road. Last year, we spent the night ghost hunting here. And while we're still gonna be doing a little bit of that, tonight is about ghost hunts that we've already done. All season long on Terra Nova, Buddha and I have been going through some of the creepiest spots the province has to offer. But in our weekly episodes, we don't always have time to show you everything that's happening there. So tonight, we're heading up to the Sterling Room to go over everything that's happened. But before we get into that, let's check in with Brendan O'Rourke to see if anything's changed with the haunted happenings here at the Woodstock. I am back in the Woodstock. Brendan, it's great to see you. Thanks for having us back.
Perfect time of year to be talking a bit of ghostly activity, right?
I mean, we were here last year. In the time since we've been here, what's been going on? Has there been anything else?
I suppose two things. One of our young prep cooks, was in sweeping and mopping one of our storage rooms. And all of a sudden we hear a big clatter and he comes running out like he had seen a ghost. He is quite convinced that he had.
Okay.
There was a big, large, shadowy figure blocking his doorway.
And he just jumps back. That's the clatter you guys
Yeah.
hear. Okay. And you said there was two things. You told us one. What's the other one?
The small handprints upstairs in the pub one night. Like restaurant staff do. A bunch of them had gotten together to have a few drinks after a shift on a Sunday evening, causing a bit of heat upstairs, made the windows fog up, and it was covered in children's handprints. But they were very upset that I didn't mention their picture, so there you go, guys.
Oh, you need Buddha wanted me to make sure there's nobody that is vacuum sealing any chicken tonight. If we hear any weird hissing sounds,
Yeah.
it is a ghost cat.
Yes.
You were here with us last year, and even though
I wasn't supposed to be a part of the show, I was
you were
a part of
such
the
a big
show.
part of the show, and to the point that you are now part of this show,
Yeah.
I really want to get you up to the Sterling Room and go through all the other ghost hunt stuff with you. But while we got a little bit of extra gear, we'd be remiss if the trip didn't involve setting some stuff up. Brendan reported that somebody had seen something in one of the storage rooms in the back, like a pantry room. So I want to set one up back there.
That's where they're storing the ghosts.
That's where they store the ghosts. That's where they do it. But I think it's time to get into it. Wait, how do I? There we go.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
great.
Well, normally we turn off the lights, but there were so many lights we had to turn them off in advance.
And like you tilt it up for the camera, but it's
But
just
it's
like directly into my eyes.
Basically, yeah.
All right, let's get
Is
to
this
it.
better?
Yeah, so much
Is
better.
that so much better? What happened was the guy was back here.
Yeah.
He was sweeping up. He turned around. He saw a shadow blocking this door, and then he stumbled back and fell into these shelves.
Oh, Lord.
One of the things that really kind of played tricks on my eyes last year was whenever I was over this way, like in this part of the room, and I'd glance back over here, I'd swear I saw something moving by this ice machine. That corner looked a little different last year.
Yeah, I think it was a lot tighter.
I want to kind of set the last one, like the next one, where this flashlight is right now, kind of pointed down towards that.
Could we kind of get it at an angle so that we can catch this ghost cat litterbacks? You see that?
One of the things here is actually a cat, is one of the supposed haunting things. We also have another version of a motion detector. Over Thanksgiving weekend, I was in Grand Falls, Windsor, and I got to catch up with Ben, a ghost hunter out that way, and got to meet up with him, go through some of his ghost hunting gear, and he doesn't have cat balls, but he has these little 3D printed octopus guys, and when you put it upside down, it works as a little jangly.
Yeah, like a little jang.
So I think we leave one of these out here along with a couple of our cat balls and just kind of see what happens.
It'd be funny if that worked way better than
It probably will.
anything that we have.
Thanks for this, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
So I'm gonna put this on the bar along with a couple of our cat balls. It's funny because they still have like all the, what? What?
It's like, it's a coat hanger, but
Oh, it's like sticking through there.
yeah, but behind that, I thought I seen something move, like a shadow.
When I do this, I can see a shadow move.
Yeah. But look. No, it's not there. Okay. Never mind. There's too many mirrors in this place, man. It's getting to me.
I am here with Jesse Randall, and Jesse describes himself as a fear maker.
Yeah, fear maker is just rolls off the tongue. I like it.
I know you're on the West Coast. Where is it you're based exactly?
Pasadena.
Okay, so Pasadena,
small
which is a
town.
beautiful area to spend
It
Halloween.
reminds me of like John Carpenter's Halloween. You know what I mean? Like the leaves everywhere, there's trees.
Weirdly enough, was shot in Pasadena.
Yeah, yeah.
Different Pasadena, but still Pasadena.
But yeah, so it has a very classic Halloween feel.
It absolutely does. And do you think that kind of aided in your love of the holiday and of horror and costumes and all that stuff?
I don't think so. I think it more aided in my love for like maybe Halloween as a film. It was scarier that it looked like they were just like in my town.
Let's talk a little bit about the different things that you do that are kind of Halloween and horror related that make you a bit of that fear maker.
So I've been making costumes for years. The first prop I can remember making was probably a Freddy glove, because that was my first horror movie.
And how old were you making Freddy gloves?
4 or 5.
I'm going to ask you a very specific thing, and I think it might have only happened in like rural Newfoundland. For Freddy costumes, people would wear like 2 sets of pantyhose, a pink pantyhose and hose, and then like a kind of like nude colored one, and rip up the nude colored one so the pink one showed underneath. And I remember people doing that as a Freddy mask, and nobody else seems to know what the hell I'm talking about. No one remembers ever seeing anybody do it, but I very specifically remember it, but nobody else seems to know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that. That sounds like a good idea, though. Especially like paint a
Like
layer of
it's-
liquid latex over that or something like that. Give it a little paint job. Like that could look really effective, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, it didn't, but it was like, it was 1990 and I was 6, so it was terrifying to see a high school kid walking around like that. All right, we have the spookiest talk show setup of all time here.
Truly. In an actual haunted location.
Buddha, all season we've been doing these ghost hunts. It's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of spookiness. In the weekly show, we don't really have the time to dig in too much.
Well, I mean, we got hours and hours of footage and stuff that we could put in there, but I mean, we have 22 minutes.
But that's why I thought talking through the way things all went down could be the Halloween Spooktacular. Our sound guy for the season was my buddy Scott, who became your buddy Scott.
He's my buddy, Scott.
He became everybody's buddy Scott. Scott's actually working on a PhD in Newfoundland history. He is going to be Dr. Scott.
Bit of a smarty pants.
A little bit. He would take it on himself to study the history of each location. and
Yeah,
stuff.
I noticed the first spot we went to. The next day, he was like, yeah, so guys, my research last night, I couldn't find... I was like, oh, your research on this? He's like, no, but...
We figured with him going through all that stuff and being part of all these shows, the best thing that we could do is give Scott his own segment. So we are going to check in with Professor Scotty, History Machine.
Yes. Of course. Let me tell you about Grand Falls House. Well, when we... Guys, this is stupid. Can I come over with you?
Scotty, like I made the graphic and stuff. Like I went through all that trouble for you to have your own segment.
It's weird. I'm in the corner. I just want to be with you guys.
Come on,
I mean, that's fair. Okay.
Get over
Ladies and
here.
gentlemen, soon-to-be Professor Scotty Eaton.
There he is.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Okay, so the first spot we ended up on the show was at Grand Falls House. Now, I knew a lot about the history of Grand Falls House just from growing up in Grand Falls, Windsor.
One of the things that struck me about the house and also about the manor is just like it is a very big display of extravagance and wealth.
The only kind of interesting thing we really caught, there is an orb that just kind of floats through and sets off the trail camera. There's a couple of them in the frame. They all kind of move in a bit of a pattern. And this is the only time where one of these trail cameras went off without one of us in the shot. Everything else is motivated. It's either we're there or there's another one immediately preceding it. We've cleared out and gone down the hallway. This is the only instance
Where there's just nothing.
where there's nothing else to motivate
Yeah.
triggering that motion.
Wow.
When we went through all that EVP stuff, we were hearing things.
But it wasn't picking
It wasn't picking up on the microphone, and we were hearing things loud as a bell. But then what gets even weirder with the Grand Falls House stuff, of course,
After we cut.
as soon as we cut, we had a whole bunch of weird
Yeah.
stuff happen there. Mary and Dave and Melinda Anthony were on the property chaperoning us, I guess.
Yeah.
They told us that they thought we were putting off wind sound effects because they heard such a loud whoosh that happened right around the same time. We were hearing kind of rattling, rustling sounds that we thought was them.
Yeah.
and that was coming from the basement, and the only part of the house that we weren't allowed in, and that was just because it was locked and they didn't have a key. We were hearing those sounds, they were hearing sounds, none of it got picked up.
That was so loud, man. Like I actually can't believe that. Like that, nothing
picked it
that
up.
It's
Well,
honestly
I was looking at the two of
unbelievable.
you guys because I had the
Yeah,
headphones
yeah.
on and I couldn't hear a thing. But obviously, I saw both of you just
Yeah, we
look right at each other
reacted,
right
yeah.
away. Yeah,
Yeah, but what happened before?
Hots. I agree.
What happened before we even entered the house, dude?
When-
The first second we got in there, like.
So I had a flashlight.
No longer.
Past tense. I had a flashlight. When we got to that house, and I go to turn on my flashlight, and it won't turn on. But I also noticed it's a little warm. When I took off the end cap, it was smoking and sizzling and like spitting out stuff, and I had to run
was
out of the house
making
like
such a
Adam
noise.
West. Some
the
days you just
bomb,
can't get
yeah.
rid of a bomb, and like open the door to the place, flicked the battery
It was
out.
Pretty good throw, Mike.
I am talking to Matt Ryan Tobin, who is a graphic artist who's done a bunch of incredible stuff, a lot of which falls within the kind of horror Halloween space. Matt grew up in Newfoundland, splitting his time between St. Mary's Bay and St. John's. So, Matt, how's it all going? How's everything?
Good. It's good. It's been a very busy year.
Like, when did your kind of love for the genre start to kind of show
If I
itself?
could look back, if I think back, it's going to the video stores. My parents walking down the aisles, and then you kind of catch out of the corner of your eye the horror section. You kind of want to peek your head and look at all the VHS covers and all that kind of stuff. I remember as a kid, like slowly building up confidence, going further down the aisle and like, that kind of thing. And I remember the first one was actually for Child's Play 2. Definitely intrigued but scared at the same time, you know what I mean? And it wasn't too long after that where I probably saw my first horror movie and it just stuck.
As a graphic artist, you are going through the trouble of making those things to try to draw in some new horror fans. How did the art come about?
I was actually in a band. I was a musician for quite a long time, and I actually would design my band's merch. Then we would just tour with larger bands, and then I would end up designing their merchandise, and it kind of snowballed from there.
This year you've been working on a bunch of spooky stuff. Is there anything in particular that's coming out that's getting ready to drop that you're looking forward to? I know I didn't realize you did the covers for the Clown in the Cornfield.
Yeah, Adam Caesar's books. Yeah. Those were a lot of fun. Adam's a great guy. And a lot of stuff that isn't out yet. I can't usually talk about it, but some stuff recently that came out. I did the novelization covers for Ty West's X trilogy. I also just released a new poster for the original Beetlejuice, House of a Thousand Corpses, a Rob Zombie film. I did that poster came out recently. Sometimes I'm so silent online in my social presence because I'm working on so much stuff, and then it all kind of comes out in one fell swoop. This is the time when everybody wants to release things that that are genre related. So. Sometimes I do stuff like 11 months ago, and then it comes out. I'm like, oh yeah, there's
That's
that.
the thing I did, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's finally out. Okay, yeah.
Was there anything in terms of Newfoundland specifically that kind of inspired and kind of aids in your art or the love of the genre, or is there anything about this place that really sticks out to you that way?
Maybe on a more surface level way, like the first horror movie I ever saw, I saw two, and I watched them at my aunt's house in Newfoundland. So there's that. There's also, me and my cousins, when we were down there, we'd play this game called Spotlight in the woods. Yeah. Spotlight. And so there was...
Of course, there's Spotlight.
Yeah.
Do people know, is Spotlight a Newfoundland thing?
I think so. I mean, I never heard of it in Ontario. That's just something I knew that my cousins and I played when we were down there. But we were always out in the woods in the nighttime. I remember there was a cemetery we used to walk by all the time, and you'd have the older cousins always telling you ghost stories and things like that. And you got to hold your breath when you walk past the cemetery, because your soul will escape. You know what I mean? There was lots of there was always a little bit of that childhood spooky lore, about things. There's definitely a vibe.
So for our second ghost hunt, we went to St. Catherine Street School, and we had some really weird stuff happen.
Still
We
scarred me,
sure
buddy.
did, buddy.
We head on to
Oh, let's get out of here.
Where a lot of the activity was kind of reported was right along the area that kind of divides the original building from an extension that was put on. Everything seemed to be triggered along that area.
That area.
New edition.
That's where you were hearing things. There's the point in the ghost hunt when I'm downstairs, you're upstairs, and at the same time, because I sync the cameras to see what happens, both of us kind of turn at the same time. When we were both in the music room, looking towards that end of the building, that's where you saw a face
Yeah.
15 feet up in the air.
Yeah, I don't like thinking about that much, but I seen it.
What was it like? Do you have anything?
No, it was terrifying. Like, thought I seen something out of the corner of the eye. Then the two of us turned around because I think you seen something too. You must have
No,
seen
I saw
something.
you looking, and what's really funny too, what's really funny about it, as we're both looking, my watch went off because Mary was messaging me to say she was ready to meet us. She's gonna be like,
Right, yeah.
and so there's a point, and it's on camera in the show where I just like see the message pop up on my watch, and when I look back, you take off.
I'm gone. I'm out of there.
And again,
later.
I
See you next
reiterate,
week.
like when somebody your size
Yeah.
runs from something, there is an evolutionary response for me to follow, because if you're scared of it, I better be.
I seen this face. It looked almost like somebody had a flashlight shining in their face. Very stark white, and I could see the eyes, and I could see the little slit mouth. It moved, and then it moved over. It like moved down and then over. It frightened the life out of me, so I immediately was like, "See you later."
And then we all followed
And
you
then-
single file.
He is correct.
Yeah.
It could have been anything, but I'm sure I seen it.
I've also never heard you actually describe it in detail like that.
Yeah.
Like
It's more terrifying
like
now
you
than I
didn't want
immediately
to talk
thought.
about it.
No, because I just wanted to get out of there. You know what I mean? Like I just wanted out. I didn't want to talk about it. I just wanted to go.
Hill Road Manor is really cool to me because it's a place that the principal of that school lived. Her family used to do this crazy haunt attraction where they had like a zip line ghost and stuff. It was a really cool, intense place, but it was rumored to be haunted, and the haunting all kind of dealt with that elevator. We opened up the elevator. We did get a photo with some orbs.
Yeah.
There was the two black orbs in the Polaroid that seemed really
the
strange.
weird like thing that kept coming in and out on the thermal
There's also
camera.
on the thermal there,
Looked
we
like
had this
fingers to
happen.
me.
The top of that has that kind of bumpy that like felt like it was somebody like
Right.
with their fingers on it. We
Yeah.
had gone down to
Yeah.
the lower level, opened it up there, and this is the bottom of the elevator itself. That looks like there was somebody kind of leaning over the edge of the elevator looking down. That one was pretty creepy. We also did the spirit box session. And that was the point where we heard a weird creak that took us.
Right to the elevator. Right
It
to the
was-
Top of the
floor in
stairs,
front
right
of the
outside
elevator.
the elevator.
It was the spot where where that elevator was open, it was the spot that if you like stepped out, it's where you would land, and that's where we heard a creak as we were going through all this stuff. Now, unfortunately, that was an instant of the trail cams not doing what they were supposed to. We had set the frame and we had set it in such a way that like it kind of drifted up. It only gave us photos, it didn't give us video, and it kind of tilted up so we didn't actually see the floor. The gear that we got a lot of stuff, but it wasn't necessarily the best quality stuff,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think is the...
It was better than last year.
It's better than not having things.
Yeah.
And we were jokingly saying like the gear's gonna malfunction and
Kinda
give us some,
janky a bit,
it's
yeah.
gonna
Pick up glitches. And
we were like, oh
weird
yeah, there'll be
stuff,
glitches and
yeah.
stuff. Oh, it'll make for great TV. But instead what happened was we had really compelling stuff happen to us in the moment, and the gear just wasn't reliable
Yeah,
enough
it
to capture it
didn't
the way
work.
we wanted to. The thermal camera's okay, but it's not like a great quality. It doesn't capture any kind of video. The trail cameras consistently malfunction on us. They just don't work the way they're
didn't
supposed to.
work.
One of the creepier things for me happened right after we were done recording.
Oh yeah.
Again.
I was sat down in the living room after we were all done. We were actually staying there for the night because it is a bed and breakfast and it's a great place. If it wasn't for the fact that we were actively ghost hunting, you wouldn't know. I had an aunt who babysat there and she had a story of what sounded like the woman that would use the elevator, an older lady with like flowing white hair walking down those stairs. And I had been talking to her about going to the house, and as I was sat there that night, I took a picture, pointed at the stairs, and as that happened, I heard, "Hey," right behind me.
I remember you coming outside because I was putting something away.
You
in
guys,
the
I
car.
think you were in the kitchen, and I like risky business into the kitchen, being like, "What's going on?" That was really obviously very creepy. Kind of weirded me out a little bit. Also, that night when I was going to bed, the cat ball that had been in the hallway was in my bedroom at the foot, like right on
I
the side of my
forgot
bed,
about that. Forgot about
and it was
that.
like a carpeted thing.
You had a bunch of cords and stuff.
I had a
set up.
bunch of stuff
It would have
around.
had to like roll
It
in,
was-
pop over like 3 or 4 cords, and then
Yeah.
a bundle of like a book bag to get.
Yeah, I'm still to this day not sure that one of you guys didn't do it to mess with me. I'm here with Shane Mills, and Shane is many things. He is the executive director and founder and whatever of Fogfest, art director for Rue Morgue. Like, you're all these kind of crazy things, and all of it has to happen within the genre space.
It is like a lot of spooky all the time. Grindmine is our production company. We started out as a crew of friends, myself, Buddha, Francois, and John. We started making short films. Now we're working on a bunch of bigger projects, which is really dope. And Fogfest also started as sort of an extension of just amplifying genre in the province. It was a really natural thing for us to get to a point where we were like, let's show this stuff on the big screen. It's grown. We're in our 4th year. Keeps growing bigger and better like a monster should. November 7th and 12th, we have our launch party at the Rock House on the 7th. And then from the 8th to the 12th, we have nightly screenings and afternoon screenings at the Majestic Theater. We're really excited about that. Our submissions are growing. The quality of our films are growing. And we have a lot of exciting guests.
The footprint's gotten bigger. You've expanded to other spaces like the sideshow happening off-site.
So the sideshow is really like an expansion of something we tried last year. That's actually going to include a ton of local vendors and creatives, as well as like circus acts like stapling skin and, you know, where a dude gets like the bricks smashed with a hammer kind of deal on the stomach. So we're really excited about that. And then obviously the other part of expanding is we are offering a lot of industry workshops this year. We are currently working on a pitch roundtable session where local filmmakers can come and connect with some of the bigger producers in genre in Canada. And we'll have opportunities for everyone to just meet and pitch their films, pitch their ideas and connect. That's obviously also an incentive for visiting filmmakers, which is also a big part of FogFest, and trying to get people to come here, experience Newfoundland for, as you know, the spookiness that it is, and hopefully, you know, make it a stop on their festival circuit for years to come. We have a great lineup of films, we have a great lineup of workshop initiatives, and a whole bunch of fun with, you know, the sideshow,
The party.
and the bands.
Episode 3 took us to Trinity, and that's where we had some of the spookier stuff happen. And this is also the episode where Scott kind of gets into stuff. The house that we were in was a house that I lived in that I always found spooky. I brought everybody there to try to like
Experience the spook as well.
kind of validate what I had gone through. Now, Scott, we knew a little bit about the homeowner. Did you look into this one? Did you find anything?
So I did find a bit more about this one. You know, obviously having been spooked myself, I was particularly interested through the owner, the now owner of the place. You know, mentioned to me that the owner was Edmund Hunt. So I did a bit of digging into him. So he was a reverend. From what I can tell, he was a pretty well-respected fellow. He published a book. I just gave it a brief read. I mean, it's only 100 pages, something like that. But it's like aspects of the history of Trinity, right? Documents the rise of Trinity a bit, right? He's, you know, okay, there's the industry. We've got shipbuilding here. We've got sealing. The railway comes through. There's a big, great promise for Trinity. And then by the end of it, all the promise is kind of gone. You know, it's a lovely place to set up shop as a tourist town. It's going to do okay, but it's not... I don't think the industrial town that this man, Edmund Hunt, really imagined, you know?
We were talking about this prior to tonight, and yeah, there was 2 things that really stood out to me from what we knew about this. Edmund Hunt, from what we've gathered, is somebody who may feel a strong connection and still feel a sense of ownership to that property.
Yeah.
And also, based on what we've gathered from his writings, might have been somebody who wasn't as excited at the idea of Trinity becoming a tourist destination. That might kind of explain why when I lived there, a combination of somebody else being in the home, but also that person being associated with this theater company, maybe is a thing. We had what was one of the more intense, creepier instances.
Yeah, it was super spooky, man.
Doing the spirit box session, my microphone started kind of acting up on Scotty.
Just yours, for the record, as well.
Yeah,
yours was coming through
mine was
fine.
fine.
No big deal. It was just
Well, he's
yours.
salt of the earth. I
Yeah,
mean, he grew up in Dildo. His family
Edmund Hunt didn't have any bones.
he's
to
got
pick with
salt
this
water in
guy.
his veins, whereas I'm from the industrial town that ruined everything.
I would sit in the chair in this room and listen to records.
It swelled right up and then just
Snapped closed.
Yeah.
And it was at a point where we asked a very pointed question. We used those same microphones everywhere we went. We never had anything remotely similar happen to it. And we've talked to other sound people. Those microphones don't use radio frequencies, so the spirit box shouldn't have been causing any disruption. I was on a lav. You had the headphones on. Feedback happens when a microphone hears itself. That microphone couldn't hear itself.
Yeah.
Also, when we checked the files after, it came through on certain channels, but not others. And it basically only came through on the receiver side. It didn't actually come through on the microphone, which also made it really weird. That was up there. That was
craziest thing, I think. Like, when I think about it, ghost face in the window and that thing are the 2 things that stand out to me the most. And then, of course, the third, which
Which is our next spot. Today I'm chatting with Jen Noseworthy from the Paranormal NL podcast. Jen, how's it going? It's good to see you.
Hey, Mike. It's good seeing you again.
How did you get started with the Paranormal NL podcast?
Yeah, it kind of started right with a group that I had was Paranormal NL, and then I started podcasting and talking to people in Newfoundland and Labrador. But then I expanded it further and went worldwide. To me, Newfoundland and Labrador is highly haunted. I was a skeptic. Enough of an experience to make me, who was a skeptic.
Enough of an experience to make you a skeptic, now run the Paranormal NL Facebook group and podcast and have the boots on ground like paranormal investigation team. So like you've had enough experiences that it did kind of convert you for sure.
It did, yeah. I was a typical person, had the I Want to Believe Scully and Mulder poster on my wall. And I was half Scully and half Mulder because I am scientific. I like to debunk. And I am also half Mulder, I want to believe, because paranormal is not just ghosts. We're also talking about cryptid creatures, and we're also talking about other things like UFOs. I really like the fact that Newfoundland and Labrador has so much in the paranormal realm to offer and talk about. I want to really promote paranormal tourism, especially here in Newfoundland and Labrador, because all over the world, especially in the United States, they have a lot of places like that. But here in Newfoundland and Labrador, you can't just go to a place or a bed and breakfast and say, hey, I'm here to ghost hunt. Most people try to hide that because they're afraid that tourists won't go there. Embrace it, love it. People will go there. They want to do that.
I mean, that's
right.
what Terra Nova is. It's about kind of embracing that paranormal tourism, the spooky tourism side of things, because that's what we're doing. We're going around. We're going to places like the Cathedral and the Old Courthouse in Harbor Grace.
I love
we're going
that
to
episode.
Hill Road Manor in Grand Falls, Windsor. It's a bed and breakfast. They let us rent out the place and do a ghost hunt overnight. Places like that are just kind of leaning into it, because when it comes to this stuff, if you believe in it, have fun, go do the ghost hunt, do all that stuff. If you're somebody who doesn't believe in it and thinks it's tacky or weird or whatever, let everybody else have their fun. So like that shouldn't bother you if you're at the place that's supposed to be haunted. So to me, it's a huge thing. And that's really what I wanted to do with Terra Nova was if you are interested in this stuff and want to do that kind of like paranormal, supernatural, whatever you want to call it, tourism, here's the stuff to look up while you're in town as well. And that's what I wanted this show to be.
And I get a lot of people internationally asking me, about Newfoundland and Labrador and where to go and what's the base places to investigate. And we have such a rich, deep history, and I always tell them we're the oldest city in North America, and everybody has a story. Everybody has a ghost story. Everybody seems like has an experience, but a lot of them don't want to talk about it. But I'm hoping that a lot of these older places embrace it all and have people open their doors. There's lots of people who want to come here and see not only just our culture, but experience it in a different way, in a paranormal way. And there's lots of that here.
Episode 4 takes us to Harbor Grace and 2 incredible properties. Now, I kind of went into this expecting the cathedral to be the one that really kind of had stuff. Since the episode has aired, I've had people sending me photos that they've taken. One of the guys, Bob, who's one of the construction workers on it, sent me a photo where you can kind of pick out a face in like the cloth of the confessional booth and stuff.
Right.
There is some weird stuff there. Obviously, there's a lot of history in that building.
The big thing for me when I was looking through the history of the cathedral is that it burned down. It was uninsured, and you read the newspapers, and people were really torn up about it. And I mean, they were getting donations in from every which way, and it was something to the tune of $350,000 of damage. You can just sense the gravity of that church burning down then. And I mean, I didn't get a sense of, was there a cost in terms of life, but certainly in terms of like a spirit of the town, it really took its toll, I think.
In terms of other kind of points about that, family of the architect that built the place.
Yeah.
So it was the architect, the chief fundraiser, and as sort of a compensation was granted the, I guess, honor of being buried in the cathedral, in the crypt with his family. One of the weird things there was that when they reinterred those remains after, there was 5 family members that were buried around the same time based on like the coffins and stuff that they found. But was there any record when you looked into stuff? Could you find anything saying why?
Yes and no. Found the records just confirming that this is a thing, right? That the chief architect, buried and reinterred there. Also, that there's, a number of people buried in the crypt across generations, that kind of thing. No sense of why.
Because there was a crypt, because there was all these things, I was fully expecting the cathedral to be the place. We were really excited about it. We were really kind of anxious and didn't know what to expect. We thought the crypt was really going to be the thing. And it ended up being at the old courthouse, and not even the courthouse itself, specifically the jail yard of the courthouse was the place that, for me, really kind of stood out. We got a little bit of a backstory about the body that is supposedly buried unmarked within that courtyard.
Oh, it's not me. Okay, so I was like, oh god, I don't know. Yeah, so the backstory is that there was a fire set to a merchant's house, I believe, and it was like a family that was found dead, and there was an investigation conducted by, I guess, the constables, the magistrates, and they pointed to these two individuals. His name was Peter Downing, and the second one I think was Patrick Malone. So the two were arrested, and the magistrates kind of separated them and suggested to the two of them that if you confess, there's a deal to be had here. And Patrick Malone, so this is Peter Downing's buddy, confesses immediately and says, yeah, I was there, I helped with the fire, but this man, you know, he was the architect of the whole thing. Turns out Peter Downing kind of tries the same thing. He's the one who gets put up in the gibbets, right? And so it was interesting. We were doing the spirit box, and you asked, you know, Peter Downing, were you sort of framed for these crimes? And it said something like, it's me, or
I didn't. I can't remember now what it said.
We ask it, and it says yes.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
It is that point.
Just yes, eh? Yeah.
Peter, were you framed for the crimes you were punished for?
Because supposedly that body is then, after 4 months in the gibbets, is just buried in an unmarked grave, we start doing the sweep during this. As we're going around, we're asking the spirit box to let us know when we find it. We get a little bit of activity on a certain spot. And where it gets really creepy for me is we get enough that makes us feel, okay, this seems like the spot.
Yeah.
And as I start walking towards it, I think you ask it another question. The spirit box freaks out. A gust of wind comes up, and the cat ball that's on the table in front of us rolls in the opposite direction of the gust of wind.
Yeah.
I felt the chills. I had it on my arms. It was very intense. And the weird part was I had gone back, I had checked those trail cameras. Cat balls did not set those off throughout the night. That hadn't happened. There was wind going all night.
Yeah.
Nothing like that had happened until that moment. And there is a chance that it is as innocent as a very circumstantial thing that just happens at this very coincidental time. But at the moment for us, it really did seem like we were getting some pretty intense pushback there.
It was an intense part of the night.
Another instance in Harbor Grace of something weird happening after the fact.
We were all hanging out, and then I looked up and I seen the door like close, and the boys all seen it open, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, that somebody that definitely did close." Now whether that was a window left open or something, but like I watched that door close right up,
and it was open.
But that was again an instance of
cameras off.
Cameras off.
Yeah,
ghosts
always.
come out.
Yeah.
That also happened to us in Hopewell. We were at Hopewell Falls. We went out on Thursday the 12th into Friday the 13th, and it was on Friday the 13th when some weird stuff happened. You had heard a bunch of scary stories about this place. I don't know if you had done any research on the place to try to
wash my hands of that one. I didn't like the vibe in that place, and I just I didn't even try.
No, I believe it, man.
The first weird thing that happens on the way into Hopewell, and that's something that me and Scott actually both got a little worked up about, but then debunked the next morning. As we were driving in the very bumpy dirt road, we were seeing a single light coming behind us. I saw it first, and then it went away, and then it came back, and then we both saw it, and then it disappeared again. So we were a little spooked out by that because we were going over this bumpy road. It seemed kind of close, and it was following pretty steady.
Yeah.
And so it just seemed like it was kind of floating behind us. As we were driving out in the daylight, there's a couple stretches along that road on your way out where you kind of line up, and it looks like the highway's coming right at you, where we just caught a motorcycle coming right at us.
It's creepy because you're driving down the road several kilometers, and you don't really realize how close to the highway you are, and there was just one or two little clearings.
Yeah, it was a couple of clearings that lined up and
perfect.
synced up perfectly with it because it is the old highway, and so it kind of follows that same line. That had happened a couple times. It was a little weird, but we figured out that's what it was the next morning as we were leaving. That one we debunked. We get into the park with you. We go through everything. We go down to the actual falls itself. We did a spirit box session there. That one was still weird to me.
Yeah.
You're describing how no one uses that park anymore, and then Doug
and the
and
slug.
like an unconfirmed number of
Yeah.
Two
slugs.
or more.
Yeah.
2 or more slugs.
Yeah, a couple of slugs.
Yeah.
When it like
What's really weird to me about that one in particular, when you check that trail cam footage, we set up the trail cameras on the bridge. Trail cameras are there while we're there setting up. As soon as we leave, the next time the trail camera gets engaged is when our car pulls up on our way out to take them down. The one down at the falls where we were hearing an animal or something in the woods behind us, again, same deal. We're in the frames the whole way. As soon as we leave, the next thing is me there the next morning. Nothing sets that off throughout the night. And
which
then
is so weird because like there's wildlife around.
Yeah.
And it was everywhere.
there is this one that's kind of weird. I don't remember rain or, a swarm of whatever that is.
Oh, almost.
It looks like snow, but it's
Yeah.
7 degrees out. It's
Yeah.
kind of strange. This is where Buddha's like climbing in the back of his vehicle, and it's just very funny.
Love that.
Me and Scotty are in the tent. Then
Cozy.
here is where things get a little odd, because here everything's kind of normal, and then it just fogs over at some point. Fogging over triggered it. None of the other cameras fogged over, and it stayed that way until we wrapped out the camera at the end of the morning as we were heading back to town. It was weird to me that that's the only one that happened with. All of the other cameras are out around. There's no way to really compare what the temperatures were like at the moments that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I like on the camera, it'll tell you the external temperature, and unfortunately doesn't tell you that on those other cameras around that same time, because they just didn't go off.
Yeah.
The lack of wildlife throughout the night setting off the trail. I mean, that's what they're designed to do is react to wildlife. So it is strange to me. As we were sitting around that campfire, we did hear some noises that you say are what is the reports.
Well, I guess so. Like I've never heard the screams before. Like I've never stayed down there long enough to hear them. But I mean, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:15, I think.
Something like, I can check what
Around
time we
about.
climbed in our short
Late.
tents, but it was late at night. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the screaming started.
I am with David Fian. He has a very cool new web series. Tell me what's up with it. It's the Department of Paranormal Affairs.
We actually shot it in 2023. We were really fortunate to be able to have a premiere of the whole series, all 6 episodes, 10 minutes each, at the Calgary Underground Film Festival. Since then, it's come out. It's available right now, though, on Hollywood Suite in Canada.
You've been working on this one for a while.
Well, it was one of those ones where I kind of put the cart before the horse. It was at the St. John's International Women's Film Festival, and they did that face-to-face pitching session where you can submit 2 pages of something. And so I wrote kind of a comedic version of the X-Files. The pitch went well with a couple of different companies, and they said, maybe you should think about doing a proof of concept. So then actually what happened was I put it on the back burner. I was in Toronto for a bit, ended up moving to Calgary during the pandemic, and I was sitting in on a film financing webinar. And you could see all the other participants. And one of the guys was named Michael Fian, who is not my brother, but my brother's name is also Michael Fian. He saw my name in the chat and reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, "Who are you? I know all the Fians in Alberta, and you're new." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I just moved here. Who are you?" And it turned out he was in development at a production company in Edmonton. And I said, "Well, I'm a writer. Let me pitch you things." And he said, "Sure, why not?" And then about a year later, he said, "We're looking at doing a short form thing, like a web series. Do you have anything like that?" And I went back to this old show, and I had that 12-page script ready to go, and I rejigged that a bit and sent it off to him right away, and it was kind of ready to go because I was wanting to make it years and years ago. And he was like, "This is great, let's make this show." The way it is different from something like the X-Files or Supernatural, our characters are never hunting the supernatural or paranormal beings in the show. They're always trying to help them. And they're not a secret, they're a public-facing organization. Because in this world, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, everything's real. Rather than saying there's a ghost in the house, you got to get it out. It's like, oh no, there's a ghost in your house. How can the two of you live peacefully together because you both have rights to this property? I think the real world implications are cultures that we don't understand and people we don't understand, and we say, oh, I'm not going to get along with them because they are like this. And that form of othering is kind of something that we try to approach in the show, where the characters kind of have biases that need to be addressed, but we do it in a fun way.
At the Majestic. And that was a space that we were going into really excited because we had heard a bunch of stories about the place. But then once we got in there, it didn't really seem like anything wanted to happen for us, to the point that none of the trail cameras worked. Now, we've been having trouble with one or something like that just not working. In this case, none of them worked. and one of them was switched off. Like the manual, like mechanic switch was switched off. We've checked the footage. All of them have a single shot off the top of the night and then nothing else from there. And so it's weird. It's disappointing that we don't have anything. We actually had more happen after again when we got to, when we were clearing out of the Majestic. Nothing happened when we did EVP. Nothing happened when we did Spirit Box. Like we weren't having anything to the point where we were discussing whether or not the phantom box office phone that was reported to us was just a residual haunting that wasn't happening because we were there outside box office hours, you know? So it was a weird thing that way. We ended up down in the basement. We ended up in the dome. We were all over that building. We did have a couple weird instances in the attic. One, we had some weird EMF stuff happening in weird places. We found a tape measure, which was something you had heard a story about. But then at the end of the night, we're all done. Everything's packed up. Cameras obviously haven't worked. We don't know this yet. We're going up to get them out of the attic, and you go up ahead of me. And you think you see somebody.
Yeah, I thought it was Mike when I...
Not me, the...
Not
like,
you, yeah.
The Majestic Mike,
The guide, our guide for the place. So I went up and there's like the little, like you said, video village. And I thought somebody was standing there. I just thought it was Mike, so I didn't even look at him. I just wanted to get the camera. And he moved really quickly and moved down. It kind of startled me. I looked over and there was nobody there. Went over, got the camera, then you went up and then you seen something.
I was with you. I was right behind you.
Yeah.
That's when you kind of saw it. I got it behind you. You told me what you saw. We started packing up the cameras. I went down and got the one at the far end.
Yeah. While you were over there, I seen something else move on the other side.
Yeah, over by where the tape measure part was.
It could have been a bird.
But the same thing is, like, I was still up there after you told me about this, and I kind of glanced over that way, and I saw something move over there, too. So we both left then. Nothing came through on any of our devices or anything that night. Like, nothing kind of peaked. I've still heard stories. I've heard some crazy stuff about that place, and I feel like maybe there's something that just, like, didn't work out that night. The other part is Mike. He said he's never had any experiences there. Let's blame him. Let's say it's his fault.
He's a deterrent.
He is a deterrent in that particular building. I'm speaking with Amanda Sharp of the Newfoundland Witch Co. And now, Amanda, what exactly is the Newfoundland Witch Co?
So it's to help people reclaim the word witch, to find their inner witch, to just get back to like the old ways and our, just be able to feel connected to source, to that energy of the earth.
And so that's the thing, is it very much is co, not company, not community, because it's a little bit of everything, and the co is left to be kind of deliberately vague.
Yeah, and as I grow with it, I'll figure it out. But yeah, it did start as a community more so, but I've done so much, just invested so much training and certificates and time and money and all that. So I'm just trying to see where it goes now. But I do offer services as well. So it is on a business side, but also community as well. I just believe that I'm just connected to nature, and it's all just like this connection to like oneness and like Mother Nature and all that, right? So I don't like putting it, because I don't resonate with pagan, I don't resonate with Wiccan or anything like that. I just feel like in my soul like that there's this witch. Like I don't know, you can't explain it, and it's like a calling. I said it to somebody yesterday, it's like you get this calling and you just feel it rising.
There's definitely a stigma with regards to like the branding of witch, which I mean obviously it goes back for a while, that particular stigma. Last year I got to spend some time in Salem. They joke in that town that in 1693 there were no witches in Salem, and now there are thousands, because people who practice and embrace that same sort of belief and lifestyle have all kind of congregated there and sort of reclaimed the place. Is that sort of the goal of the Newfoundland Witch Company, to kind of promote this and kind of reduce that stigma and just have people accept the witchy life?
Yes, that was my main thing, was to reclaim the word witch and just like the stigma. There's so much stigma. And Witch Co was created because of that, and to build a community, and it is a lifestyle. Like, and I always have the hashtag like witch lifestyle, because it's just getting back to your roots. And to me, I'm also Métis, so I feel that they're kind of intertwined. You know what I mean? It's like, not saying, you know what I mean? They're both separate, very different too, but there is a likeness between two, and it's all about being connected to nature and respecting nature and getting back to the old ways, and the ways that, were more fair as a whole for everybody that lives on the earth. Do you know what I mean? Not just people, right? So I think getting back to that, yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway from all this stuff is we've had so many great ghost hunts and so many experiences and so many things that made all of us go, what was that? And there was just so much great stuff. And that's not even talking about all the great interviews and people that we've been talking to that are doing just wonderful, spooky things outside of the true, like, supernatural spooky of Newfoundland and Labrador. It is so cool to see all this stuff happen, and it's so cool to kind of take it in this way and get to kind of go around and do these ghost hunts and get to enjoy it and really kind of play into it and let ourselves get caught up in all this incredible spooky culture. Thanks for taking the time to crawl around spooky places all over Newfoundland with me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was truly a unique experience.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Terra Nova Halloween Spooktacular as we wrap up this season of Terra Nova. As I said last year, spooky season ends and then starts again very soon because every day is Halloween in your heart if you let it be. Happy Halloween, everybody, from all of us here at Terra Nova.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween.